Hi everybody, Tammy here. Welcome to this mermaid crown tutorial. Okay. I have my mermaid here and she is wearing this really cute shell crown. This mermaid queen of the ocean. Okay. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make something similar. Let me just say each crown is different depending on the person making it, your personal taste, the shells that you have that you use to make it, and you know what you want to do. But I'm going to show you a technique. So here's another mermaid crown, very similar. Let me show them together. Boop. All right. So the idea is you have a main shell here, main shell there. You wire wrap it and then you attach stuff to it, and then you attach it to the doll with some wire. And basically I've pulled, if this doll has like a little ponytail here, so I took hair from either side around her face, pulled it up and made it into a ponytail, left some extra wire at the end of this crown, and then wrapped that wire around the ponytail. So you can take it off easily that way, but honestly I leave it on her all the time. She is a permanent mermaid queen, and this is pretty, it stays on pretty well. Okay, so if you want to do other things to attach the shell crown when you're done, I'm sure you can think of a lot of different things to do with that, but this is the way I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, and you can see here I've got little beads and charms and that kind of thing, and I'm going to basically, like I said, show you the technique, but whatever you create is going to be a little bit different than what I create. All right, so let me put her away, set her aside, give us some room here. So the supplies you're going to need to make the mermaid crown include a few feet of wire. I'm using 21 gauge red brass wire. You could use copper, you could pretty much any type of wire you can use, but I would say I wouldn't use anything smaller than 22 gauge and nothing larger than 20 gauge. What I like about 21 and 22 gauge, it's easy for me to manipulate with my hands. I also use tools, but some of it you have to use your hands, and I do not have the best hand strength because I have arthritis in my wrists and my fingers. So you want something a little bit soft, but you also want it so that it's thin enough to fit through the average bead. This is a 6mm bead. Like here's a charm. I want to be able to, you know, put a charm on there. So if it's super thick, it's not only going to be difficult to maneuver with your hands, but you'll have trouble getting it through things. Okay, so that's the wire I'm using. You also need some hand tools. I'm using wire cutters, some just regular scissors, flat nose pliers, and round nose pliers. You could probably get away with not using round nose pliers, but they are handy. You also need some glitter and some Mod Podge or something similar, anything that some sort of water-based sealant will work. I like Mod Podge. I just happen to have some matte Mod Podge, and this is some crystal diamond. It's kind of got an iridescent to it. So this is what I'm using. But any type of glitter and any type of sealant will work. You want something to put the sealant onto your finished, almost finished crown. I have just a little bit of foam. I trimmed this off from a makeup thing that I was using, a little makeup sponge that I used. I was using it to do a face up on a doll, and I just trimmed off a little bit of it. Another thing that would work really well is a foam brush. I just don't happen to have one handy. I also recommend some fiber. You could use scraps of yarn, scraps of hemp. I have this colored hemp here. I like this because it adds a little bit of color, because you're using a lot of natural items that don't really have necessarily that much color. So this adds a pop of color. All right. And then, of course, shells. Okay. If you are watching this as part of the Virtual Blythe Retreat 2024 and purchased a goodie bag, in your goodie bag is a little bag of shells, an assortment. Everybody is going to have in that goodie bag one shell similar to this, where it's just a full-on shell, nothing too beat up about it. Some of them might be kind of beat up. I actually kind of like the beat up ones a little bit, but one full shell like this, and then you might have like a shell fragment or some sort of unusual piece, like I'm trying to think, like something like maybe a broken piece of sand dollar or something. I tried to throw in something weird too, and then a few small pieces that might have holes in them. Like here's a piece that's cool. It's a shell fragment with a hole. Okay, so you might have some pieces like this that you could wire wrap and attach. In fact, if you were with us for Virtual Blythe Retreat 2023, Terry showed us how to take a little fragment like this and wrap it and attach it to the pull cord. You could do that same kind of thing, but attach it to the crown instead. And then some charms. The goodie bag also has a couple of charms. I'm trying to remember, I think I put in there a crab and a fish bead. The fish bead is similar to this fish bead. It's just a little bit smaller and it's not tarnished. Okay. And then just some leftover beads. I tend to have like bead soups thrown around that I haven't put away. And so I like to dig stuff out of here. Okay, and then I could use these for, my crown. So yeah, so that's all you need. We're going to do the Mod Podge and the glitter at the very end, because you're going to be handling your shells a lot and you don't want to have glitter all over the place. I mean, unless you want to have glitter all over the place, but we're going to do that at the end, so I'm going to put these aside. So first we want to make the base of the crown. And so I'm going to start with this shell. So if you have the goodie bag, you might want to pull out the shell that is like just a plain old shell like that. It's the biggest one in there probably. If you don't have the goodie bag, just try to find a shell about this size. It doesn't have to be exactly the same size. So you can see this is a little bit smaller, but basically a shell. Again, you could also use a shell fragment, but first I'm going to show you how to use just a shell. And take a little bit of wire, straighten it out with my fingers a little bit. And the first thing we're going to do is wrap this shell with this wire a few times. And you want to sort of mold the wire against the shell. All right, so I'm going to leave about, I would say that's about 4 inches of wire free at the top, and wrap the shell. Again, you're molding it against the shell, and the same thing inside. Mold it against the inside, and then bring it up here to the other piece and do one twist, one full twist. So voila, you've got one. Now repeat that a couple of times. Again, take the big wire, wrap it, press it here against. It does not have to be perfectly aligned with anything. If you are the type of person that everything has to be even Steven, this project will drive you insane. Okay, again, I'm pressing it up against the shell. There's a little bit of room, but it's okay. See, it's not 100%, but it's pretty close. And again, I'm going to use my fingers and twist. Okay, and then I'm going to do that one more time. And there's some gaposis there, but that's okay. This is going to cross over a little bit, no big deal. And twist. Now I want to tighten this up a little bit, so I'm going to take my flat nose pliers, find a spot, and hold onto the wire, and then just twist. Hold onto the wire and twist. Do it in a couple of different places. Don't twist super tight, or else you could break the shell. Okay, but here you go. All right, so I have 3 wraps. Here's the finished one. Again, I have 3 wraps, and you can see I bent the wire in different places. Okay, so this is the base of your crown at this point. So now the fun part starts, and you're going to start attaching items to any part of this that you want. I might want to put some stuff here. I can also, there's still room for me to put stuff back here. And so let's start with some hemp, colored hemp. I'm going to use green and cut off about 6 inches. You don't want it to be too short or you're going to have a hard time because you're tying knots to secure it onto the shell. Get these out of the way. And just find a spot. There's no wrong way to do this. I'm going to go through 2 pieces of wire here. There's no wrong way to do this. And I'm going to tie a simple overhand knot. Okay. And I'm going to tie another one. And now I'm going to just add things to either end of this. So let's start here with a bead. I'm going to put that in there. If I can see it. Where's the hole? There we go. Put it down there. And now I'm going to tie an overhand knot so that the bead stays on the fiber. Alright, voila. And now I think I want to add this little tiny little shell that has a hole in it. And let's see. Go through there. And I'm going to do an overhand knot so it won't fall off. This is where my little round nose pliers would be handy. So this is the creative process where you do you. You do you, boo. Do your thing, okay? Do what you want to do. Let's see, is that gonna stay there? It is, but I'm gonna do another one just in case. There we go, big old one there. Boom. Voila. Okay, so I've just started adding stuff onto this. All right, now if you want, if you noticed on this one, I frayed the ends a little bit, so you can do that by twisting, untwisting it. This fiber's twisted. You can also take your scissors or a straight pin and kind of pull it out a little bit. Like that. Carefully, do not poke yourself. This is not for little kids, for sure. And over time, these will actually kind of do that usually on their own too. But so you can see I got a little bit going on there. So I just add a little texture, especially, I like the idea that, she's coming out of the water and things are a little bit rough and broken and that kind of thing. All right, so you can see right now, things are staying on. It's a good idea to double check as you do this. All right, so now I want to add a charm. I have this little turtle charm, and I'm going to use the short piece, okay, the shorter of the two. You want to leave that long piece, remember, because at some point you want to wrap this around the ponytail that you're going to make on your doll. But for this guy, I'm going to put that down there, and I am going to put him on here, and I'm going to take my round nose pliers and kind of roll with it a little bit here. because I want to keep that guy, and I'm going to press it like that. So he's on there. He can go like that. I can move him around a little bit, but he's pretty secure. Make sure he's secure. There you go. And then I have this cool little loopy thing kind of sticking up. If you don't want it to stick up, you could tuck it down. Like I could take it and I think I can push it underneath here. Let's see. And what's cool about this, if you totally goof it up, okay, you probably won't be able to reuse your wire, but you can reuse your shell, you can reuse all your beads and your charms and that kind of thing. There we go. Ah, okay, now we're dealing with it. Check it out. Okay, now I want to add some stuff onto this other piece of hemp over here. And I think I'm going to add a bead. Doopy-doopy-doo. And let's see, what else do I have around here? So you can just add as much or as little as you want. You could add some down here. See, I have space down there. Not a lot, but I have enough. I could put in some hemp over here and tie it on. You can just kind of go crazy. So I trimmed off the hemp a little bit and again frayed it. And I am good with this. I feel like this is okay. So what I'm going to do is take this long piece here and I'm going to tuck it underneath a couple of these, because this is the underside and I want to be able to, let me get my flat nose pliers here. I want to be able, this is going to be, the ponytail is going to be underneath this, so I want this kind of positioned under the crown. And yeah, like that. So now I have enough, I have a few inches left that I could wrap around that ponytail. Voila. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to, I mean, you could stop here if you want to, but I am going to put some Mod Podge on this and a little, so basically you just put the Mod Podge on your sponge and dab it on. Dab it on. I could do that onto this shell too. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of glitter all over it and let it dry. So I'll do that off camera and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's dry. While I am waiting for the mermaid crown to dry with its glitter and a Mod Podge, I thought I would show you how to wrap something weirder than just a regular shell. Like if you had a shell piece, a shell fragment, or something like this. Like I said, in each of the goodie bags, if you got one, I tried to throw something kind of weird in there. This is a piece of a conch shell. So you could do either one, but I'm going to show you how maybe something like this could be turned into a crown. And it's the same concept. In fact, I'm using 22 gauge copper wire this time instead of 21 gauge brass. But it's the same idea. You're going to take about 3 or 4 inches of wire here and then place the rest of the wire against the piece that you're wrapping. Bring it around. Do a twist. All right. Take the long piece, bring it around, do another twist. And again, I'm holding the wire up against the piece of shell as much as possible. And I'll do one more kind of this way and wrap it. All right. So I have three wraps. Obviously, you could do more if you want or less. It's up to you, but 3 usually works pretty well for me. And then I'm going to take my flat nose pliers, grab a section and just twist it. Grab a spot, twist it, grab a spot, and twist it. And that kind of tightens it up a little bit. And you can see at this point, it's pretty secure. And same kind of idea. We have a short piece here and then a longer piece here. And you just add pieces onto here. You can add some hemp. Boop. Find a spot to stick your hemp through. Or no, I'm going to do it underneath one of these. There's still room. I can squeeze it under there pretty easily. And I'm going to do a couple of overhand knots so that I'm connecting the fiber onto the wire. And I have this really cute little charm here. So I'm going to stick that on there. There we go. And I'm going to tie an overhand knot so it doesn't fall off. All right. And let me find another. I'm not going to use a blue bead. Let's see. Oh, here's a pink one. Blue on blue won't show up that great. I want a little more contrast. And I'm going to put that through there. And tie another overhand knot. I'm going to leave that for now, but I'm going to fray that later. And so you can start seeing how it's showing up here. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more to this and be right back. All right, so this one is ready for some glitter, Mod Podge and glitter. I've gone ahead and, again, positioned the longer wire underneath it so that I can attach that to the ponytail of a doll. And I added a little bit more fiber here, 2 different colors. This is like a weirdo piece of broken shell with a hole that I added on there. Did my little curlicue thing to attach it on and tuck that in. And yeah, so you don't have to have a shell that's perfectly shaped. All right, so let me go Mod Podge and glitter this up and be back to show you both pieces after they have dried. All right, guys, I'm back. I have a doll with me, as you can see. I'm going to show you how to attach the crown to her little ponytail that I gave her. You see, I just pulled back some of her hair and made a little ponytail up here at the top of her head. And here are the dried crowns that I showed you how to make. Here's this one. Now, I will say with this one, I might have goofed and made this a little shorter than I would have liked. I think it's still going to work, but we shall see. Here is the other one made with the fragment of a conch shell. Okay. This one has plenty of wire. So while I am suggesting that you use the long piece of wire to wrap around the ponytail, there are lots of ways you could attach it if you wanted to try something different. For example, you could take a piece of ribbon or a strand of cord or even a skinny piece of fabric and thread it through here and then tie a knot and then tie that onto the ponytail. You could also glue on a hair clip if you wanted to. So lots of ways to do it. It's up to you. Using the wire to wrap it around tends to be the easiest. If something like this happens where it's shorter than you want and you struggle, I think I can do it. But if I'm struggling, I have a solution for you. Like say you just goofed up and you didn't cut enough wire to begin with. You can attach another piece of wire underneath here and then, just like slip it through here and twist it a few times and lengthen and have that as the piece that you're going to use. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try to attach this one with the wire that's kind of too short. And my idea is that I'm going to put it up here like this. Okay. And I'm going to take my round nose pliers and the end of it, because I don't want it to poke me while I'm working with it. I'm just going to curl the end a little bit there. So you have a little curl on the end. Okay. And here we go. Let me get this stuff out of the way. See if I can show you how to do this with this girl. Sit her up here, get her ponytail where I want it. And I'm going to stick the wire underneath the ponytail. Oops. There we go, like that. Get that other hair out of the way there. There we go. And this might take you a few times to kind of get it how you want it. No, okay, I think it's long enough. Yep, I'm just doing it like this. There we go. Position it a little bit. Ooh, yeah. I think she's going to make a wonderful mermaid. I just got to give her a tail and a little bandeau top to make her into an official mermaid. But she now has a mermaid crown. All right, you guys, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm especially interested if you do this and you want to share pictures or, you know, comments about your experience putting together a mermaid crown for your doll. All right, thank you. And like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them down below in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. And yeah. Thanks for spending a little crafty dolly time with me. Bye-bye.